Hello, and welcome to the ICOSA Podcast, where we have honest, real conversations about the education in India. The kind that happens in staff rooms and school corridors, but barely out in the open. I'm your host, Ananya, and every episode I sit down with people who are actually inside our schools, the ones shaping our next generation, learns, thinks, and grow. I need you to stay with me on this one because today we are going somewhere that school almost never go publicly. We're talking about parents. Now, if you're a parent listening to this, I want you to take a breath because this episode is not an attack. It's a conversation, an honest one, the kind that a principal has in their mind every single day but almost never says it out loud. Because the moment they do, their phone doesn't stop ringing. Here's the question nobody wants to answer directly. Are the parents most valuable partners for a school, or some of them just quietly become the biggest obstacle in their child's education? I don't know the answer, but my guest today might. My guest today is the principal of Sri Ravishankar Vidya Mandir, a school with a lot of specialities, of course. She is Dr. Reshma Ganesh from Sri Ravishankar, founder, principal, and campus director. And today, she's agreed to be very honest about it. So we are here for a very candid conversation with her. Off to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Looking forward for this.
Please go ahead and tell us something about yourself.
Thank you so much for this warm welcome, Ananya. It's my privilege and pleasure to be on this platform where I can share my thoughts with you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I'm looking forward for this as well. To tell about myself, yes, you have rightly introduced me as Dr. Reshma Ganesh, and I began my journey with the Art of Living Foundation since the year 2000, since 1997. And in the year 2001, we set up the Art of Living schools called Sri Ravishankar Vidya Mandir. The trust was launched in 1999, and since 2001, the first school flagged up. And since then, right from the inception, I've been heading this branch and also supporting all our other branches, which is approximately 100 plus branches that we have spread across the country. So I've been supporting them as an academic council member from the Sri Ravishankar Vidya Mandir Trust.
All right. Let's start easy in your experience. When a parent walks into your office, what are the top three reasons they're there?
Oh, very good question. Yes, let me give it. Top three reasons that I see a parent coming into my cabin usually is definitely it's related to their ward's progress in the school, especially of I think post-COVID. The reason that I see majority of the parents coming in is with a concern that they have made either friendship with somebody who is non SSRVM, not from our school, but somebody on digital platform, and they are being advised in the wrong path. So how do I get my child to come out of this digital addiction and making this wrong moves or friendships? So this I see is nowadays increasing. So this is one of the alarming concerns that I have been seeing from the parents. And we do have a good set of parents, good number of parents coming and thanking us also for the kind of, I can say, the education that we are providing, because in SSRVM, we keep seeing to it that we send a lot of parental tips. We keep sending a lot of ways how they can keep their child engaged, where there is a lot of family time also that gets involved. The child is doing the project with the parents. So many parents come saying this, how it worked for them, and the child was aloof and not actually discussing things with them, but the strategy that we used or the assignment that we had given has really brought in a transformation. I have a lot of parents coming and thanking me for this also, which I'm really, really happy. And that is what gives me the inner satisfaction at the end of the day when I get this kind of thank you notes from parents. So this is one more concern that one more reason that I see parents coming into my cabin.
So
And
let me circle for the first one first. Like, how will you help a student come out of a friendship that they've made off school, and what type of friendship is that actually? Like, how can the person who's not even a school member guide you in a way that it is becoming a problem for parents?
See, that is where, I keep telling my coordinators, the academic team, and the teachers, or with the school counselors. I have regular meetings, regular discussions on telling them how we need to keep making these students have a proper role model in their life. So they should talk about people who have made it big. So they look up to people who are really in the right path, who are being very constructive. So that is where they have to see that they have role models who are positive, who are constructive, who are contributing. That is one thing. Second thing I tell the staff members, you please make sure that you make the students see a bigger picture in life. When they come from a space of me and mine, they are only thinking from their perspective. But
Right.
if you make them see a bigger picture, whether it is from the academics point of view, whether it is from the country point of view, anything you see, there's so much more that we can do. There's so much in life that we can give, we can contribute. And they see there is a joy in doing that. Once they taste that joy, and that we give through community service, we engage them in community service. So then they start realizing that we need to make friends with people who are useful, who are really positive thinkers, and they want to
Right.
be associated with these kind of names. So we start bringing them as resource members in the school campus, or we take the students there. And that is when they start realizing that, yes, if I make friendship with anybody, because making friendship outside school, I wouldn't want to stop that. I don't want to curtail. There are so many, I mean, the population is so vast. They should know
Right.
how to swim. They should know how to go mix and make their way and make friendship with people who are healthy and who are helping them grow in their life.
So this is actually, I think, a content problem. The content that they're consuming and they're getting wooed by. I think, because see, friendships. If I am a child, uh, let's say, I don't think we are talking about primary kids right now. We're talking about secondary kids only. So
That's right.
they are too young to associate. They have these four kids that are next to their benches, and that is their entire world.
Correct.
But or the younger students can fantasize about people who are streaming, they're good at gaming and all these things. But when it comes to secondary students, of course they have a more pool, they are social butterflies, and they want to engage with more and more people, attain habits that they are not supposed to, and of course consume content that may or may not channel them away from studies or something like that. But the main problem here is, how can school, I can understand you give them community service and everything, but isn't that supposed to be the parents responsibility through and through? Matlab, how can a a school principal or a teacher, of course, if a teacher will stop a student or try to push them in other direction, of course the teacher becomes the bad person. Yeah, I feel that, because if as a person only, if I get pressurized by someone else and not my parents, I would of course not like them. I would directly say, but why are you telling me all of this?
See, that is where, we should understand these teenage mentality or their way of thinking. As you
Right.
rightly said, when you try to push them, they become rebellious. They want
Right.
to do more of it. So
Yeah.
they don't understand why, the reason behind it. They feel that you're compelling them, you're forcing, I'm old enough to make my decisions. They feel
Right.
they're mature enough. Whereas you
Right.
know that they're going into the wrong path, or making a friendship with not who are really healthy for their upbringing, isn't it?
Right.
So how can we divert that? You just recollect your childhood days. How would your mother divert your attention. She would want, you were asking for something and you were very adamant, I want this, I want this. So what would
Right.
your mother do at that situation? She would give you something alternative and put your attention towards that, isn't
Right.
it? Should divert you completely, saying that, oh, let's come here, I'll take you this, and should show you some other toys or something else that is more lucrative. So unless you show them something else, or you give them some other people to associate themselves with, or you have a conversation. See, having a direct conversation and telling them like this will not work when they know what is your intent. So it is
Right.
good that you are having a conversation, probably as you're dining or when you're watching or reading the newspaper. You see, come across an article of a person who has really contributed and done well for himself or herself in the society. Talk about this person and what made that person achieve so much. Was it their perseverance, their dedication, their commitment? So how we should not deviate from that, and associating yourself. That is why in Art of Living we always say sangha also plays a very, very important role. The companions, the people whom you associate yourself. So we put this all in a conversation between us, and this is where they start reflecting then. Then you can come to them and speak to them, tell them about it. Who are your friends? What do you do during your leisure time? How are you spending your leisure time? Why don't you do something like this? See, there's an organization here. Would you like to come and volunteer yourself for this? During the summer we are having, we give them certain options where they can get themselves involved. So we give them these options, so they choose. They say, oh yes, we would all like to. There is a lot of peer influence also going on for them at this
Right.
age, isn't it? But if you manage to bring one person towards you, they will automatically pull the rest of their members also towards this good contributions. So this is how we work about it.
So basically, making them busy in other activities so that they are not very free and doing all the things that they want to do, and then you casually slide. Okay, this is also a part of living where you can slide and see what's happening, experiment this, and then take your own decision. So basically, you're showing them the way, and they're moving towards it, and then again they feel like it was their decision. And
Absolutely. Make them feel
very
responsible.
clever.
Take them ownership. They'll take the ownership. And second thing,
Right.
it should be lucrative enough. There should be something. See, teenage mentality is they like to research. They like to feel that, there is something to explore. There is something to collaborate. So you need to keep those things in mind, that what kind of activities would they like in this age, and not give something that I like, because I should not force it. What is good
Right.
for them, for their career? Where is the world moving towards now? We should also be upgraded with our knowledge and what's happening in the society, in the world.
Right. So then you mentioned transportation. Transportation, like I think mostly it could be the root problem that the student reaches late at home or something like that, or is there something else?
Yes, when it comes to transportation, these issues are more which is easily we can resolve them. Either in the bus, they want us to keep the students engaged because they are mixing with all kinds of age groups there. Then we need
Right.
to talk to parents, make them understand it's good to, it's actually healthy when they are, they understand what is the need of a little child. They know how to speak to a child. They know how to speak to somebody who is out of foundation stage and moved to the primary level. At the same time, a secondary level student, they know how to talk to different age group students also. So once we make parents see this point of view, that it's good actually, and we keep seeing to it that they also are given responsibilities as being a bus monitor, or trying to make certain activities which they can also engage the students as they travel, something that is light and joyful so they enjoy the journey. Because being in a place like Bangalore, the travel time is really a concern for many parents. even if the kilometer wise it shows just 5 kilometers, the time
Right.
taken is quite long, lengthy. So we see to it that there is certain activities that we can plan even during the travel time. So this is where certain it's actually once they understand what exactly we do, they are happy with us.
All right. Okay. And which of these problems do you dread the most?
Which are these? For me, I don't dread them, but I see that there is a increase in the way that the relationship between a student and the parent. I feel that nowadays that is a concern. They feel parents feel that the student is not spending enough time at home or talking to them, or they're giving in monosyllables the answer.
Mhm.
So just one word answers they are getting, and not having a proper conversation, refusing to come to any function. But if I hear from the students' point of view, they say that the parents are busy with their workspace, or with their other prior engagements. They don't give time. So I feel there is a gap that is actually being built, or widening between parent and the child. So that is a concern for me. And that's where we keep giving a lot of assignments where they can work together jointly. How a project where there is little of parental involvement and the child also can do it independently. We try to give certain assignments that they do it together, or we see to it that we invite parents quite often to the students to watch their child's performance, or giving them some platform where the child is doing an activity with the parent. So we try to see there is a lot of parental involvement, and we send a lot of tips also, how parents also need to see that they are the way they speak, and what they how they conduct themselves also in front of the student or their ward. That is also now somewhere it's changing it. Parents earlier were very mindful, but nowadays they remove their frustration in front of the student, their office stress, or whatever ups and downs they are going in their experiencing in their life. They don't realize that the child is observing them. And
Right.
that is where we tell them, be mindful of what we are speaking, the way we are conversing. It should not be contradictory to what is being taught to them, what is being preached to them, and what they actually are practicing at home or in school.
Got it. But don't you think in today's day and age, when both of the parents, I think in a lot of homes, most of the parents are, the couples are only working. It's not
Yes.
like, so earlier it used to have that the mother is at home and the father goes out to the store. So the children used to connect more with the mother, and then the father became that ghost entity who would just come, sway some rules, and then go again in the morning. But now, today, when both of them are working, things are pretty tight for them. And then getting enrolled in so many activities and coming frequently also hinders their work performance and everything. Isn't that an issue?
See, first, let me acknowledge that I'm actually happy that both, as you said earlier, mothers used to be at home, but nowadays
Right.
we find that mothers are also equally, they're in good positions and working and earning and doing good for themselves. Actually, I'm
Right.
happy and proud of these women achievers also, doing good for themselves and coming out of their four walls. Why? Because it widens their perspective also. They understand what's going on in the society. They
Hmm.
are also their views are much more broader, and they understand what they need to do for their child, what's happening in the world, what's happening in their community. They get to hear or discuss during their work in their workspace from other parents. They hear the concerns, so they become alert. Okay, this I should check what's happening at home. So I'm happy that they are actually going out, and they're also experiencing and getting the feedback from other parents or other people. So that is one thing. But what you mentioned is, are they finding it difficult to balance coming to school and getting themselves engaged? See, it is
Right.
not about the time, you know, that is what I am concerned. It is about the quality time that I am emphasizing on. So whatever time that they get with their ward, it should be of quality. That is enough. Even if you're giving just 15 minutes, that 15 minutes should be uninterrupted, dedicated, and which is making the child feel the proximity or the emotions the child can express to the child. It's giving a space where the child feels free and comfortable to just open up. So that is what I want parents to give. So I'm very happy when I make parents realize this and tell them this, because I give them examples. Recently, when I was having a conversation with a child, one of the students, who is in her teenage, I always keep telling them, whatever happens, you should go home, you should share with your parents, talk to them, because they are always there for you. They wish the best for you. And whatever they're doing is so that the family is happy, isn't it? So you should also, from your side, take this responsibility of sharing whatever is happening in your life. Don't weigh, is this okay to tell my parents or not? With your parents, you can be open, frank, and share your thoughts. That's when one girl, she told me that, no, ma'am, I don't like to share anything with my parents. So then I asked her, why? What happened? So she said that, my mother comes back tired. And, when she's tired, she's wanting to first spread the lunch, dinner for everybody. So she's busy heating or cooking. She rushes to the kitchen. And when I
Right.
go to tell her, she's with a vessel and with her cooking utensils and stirring things, and she says, go ahead, I'm listening. But for me, that time the thoughts doesn't come. I want her to give me the entire attention, and that's when I can express myself. But my friends, when I'm saying something, is it okay, tell me, they are all ears to me, and their body language tells me that they are attentive and listening, whereas I don't get this kind of attention from my parents. So that is when I took up this and I shared it with the parents. This is how the child feels. So you make the child understand. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll come back. The child will understand. Have this
Right.
conversation with the child, saying that, I'd first like to this thing, then I'm all free. So, but that time, once you finish the dinner, spend that 15 minutes or 10 minutes that the child is wanting. You were wanting to share something. What's it? Come back to the child and say that, what is it? What happened? Then the child will be happy. And the child will also come to support you in the kitchen. Come, let's do it fast. Let's see. At the same time, I spoke to the child also. See, just think from your mother's perspective. She's feeling that everybody is hungry, they're tired. So she wants to serve them first. So you can ask her, is it okay to talk now, or shall we do it after dinner? I want to tell you something. You also, from your end, you just understand what space she's coming, what she going through. So this is where I have a conversation with both. And I tell the students also in this manner, I guide them.
All right. All right. So one thing that puts me here in a position is that so you've been in this industry for almost more than 2 decades, of course, but but here there has been a shift. I feel because it's all over the internet, on Reddit, on Quora. The quality of parents have shifted. That's what people are saying. When you compare a parent who was in 2010 and you compare a parent of 2020, there's a huge difference. That is what the internet says. But for you, what are the markers that you find that okay, this has shifted?
Yes, if you see, everything has been evolving, isn't it? It's not just the parents' attitude or why are we isolating only that? The way we are leading our lifestyle itself has changed, isn't it? The work space, the demanding, the competition levels, that has also changed. So everything is changing, isn't it? So we need to know how to equip ourselves to see that, we are still grounded. We don't lose our patience. We don't lose this basic human qualities of caring. That shouldn't change. The value system shouldn't change. So this is where I guide parents, I guide students also, saying that these are something core values that should always remain within us, and we should exhibit this at the right time, at the right place. Having patience when somebody is saying something, giving a listening ear, that is very important. Showing the care, just asking them one word, how are you doing today? That will bring in such a good bonding between a mother and child. How are you feeling? How was school today? How's your friend doing? So these basic conversations should not be lost.
This I get, but nowadays when they come to school, of course, they have access to much more information and they feel much more researched when it comes to parents. So now, have they become more informed, like they know everything, or have they been policing all around?
In fact, I come from this thought that one is I keep my doors open. I'm happy when a parent walks in. I want staff to walk in. I want students to walk in. They should feel that comfort level to come and express whatever is their thoughts or whatever is their concerns or appreciations, whatever be it. They should feel free that yes, principal is approachable. I can have a conversation with her without hesitation. That is one thing. Second thing is I want transparency in whatever we do. So that doesn't give me any kind of fear or worry that, oh, they are much more informed nowadays. When I myself am sending a report, I make the students or the teachers also tell at home what we are planning for this entire month in advance. What's coming up. Even if a student is going somewhere, we are taking them on some either an excursion or to visit some place, or a resource member is coming, we give them an orientation on what is to be expected or the background of it, so that they are informed well, and they can also do their research, they can do their homework, so they can come prepared if they want to know more about it or have questions. It's always good if they are informed in advance. Then you can also listen to their ideas that comes. It helps you grow as a person. When they come out with an idea, you can also evaluate it. Is there some sense in what they are saying? Have I missed seeing it from that angle? So if I've missed it, I am really thankful to that parent, and I tell, oh, I had not thought from this angle. Good, you brought it to my notice. Give me some time. I would like to work on this. When you are open, when your doors are open, you have no fear.
But it's not exactly about fear. I think when see, most of the parents that I feel are become more controlling about their child's future and their education and everything. And now when Chat GPT and all this open AI is so accessible, searching something which is there recorded and coming from experience, there are two ends, right? One is executionable, one is not. One is just theoretical. You can only see that it can only happen in books, and one is the practical reality. So doesn't that hinder the process or anything, or some process, I feel, because it can be a very alarming issue when it comes to the school. They have to manage the student also, they have to think. So the one parent is thinking about their only child or whoever is there, you have to think for thousands more. So shifting something for one parent or actually considering what they're saying, that must put you in a position where you have to actually recalibrate your entire thought. So how's that like?
Okay, a good question. Actually, what you asked me right now is really very valid. See, as you said, ChatGPT or these access to Google and has made them realize that there are so many kinds of platforms they can get their child to enroll or uh, to take the child towards that. Or of course, there's a lot more exposure that the parent also has or information on hand. But at the same time, what we also hear in school, what we do is we see to it that we have career counseling done at regular intervals for the child. So even the teachers go through career counseling so that they know what are all the options. So when they are talking itself to the child, they tell that, if you are interested in this, what are all where it can be applied in their real life, what is the application level. So that should also be known to this. And the most important thing is We see to it that we have frequent parent teacher meetings. So
Right.
we see to it that we call, as I mentioned in the beginning also, we see to it that we invite parents quite often to the campus. Why? Because that gives them a realistic picture of where their child stands and what is the child's interest. Otherwise, most of the parents, they put what is their interest or their unfulfilled ambition towards their child. They push the child towards that. But we start making the parents realize that there are so many other options now. And second thing is they understand where their child stands, whether it is in academics front, sports front, or their abilities, their interest, and their attitude. So they start getting a complete picture of their child. And in case they're still wanting their child to get into probably this stream or this kind of a profession, we'll say that we would like to work with them, how we can make it really possible. So we have in our campus, we see to it that the students who really want to get some more what learning from the staff, we arrange after school hours or on Saturdays. We have teachers staying back and giving one-to-one attention to this child and giving them additional coaching, I can say, or teaching them. So we give this hand holding also to see that, can we really upgrade them in their knowledge in that path, in that subject. So we give them a lot of such kind of opportunities also.
But see, I was asking you about the things that they Google. So it is not just about career. When they hear about processes, then they have their own version of it. Like, okay, you can do this like this also now. You can do it that also now. This will fit our schedule better, and I think it will be better for other parents also. They must come. On a WhatsApp group or wherever there is a communication channel, they must come with some alternative ways. Because I remember uh, when I was a kid, there, although there was not much access, but we used to get to hear things like that. Okay, this alternative was proposed or something like that. So for let's say you have built an activity, or you've built something that you want the student and parent to engage with, and they then have their own version because they have thoroughly researched about it, and then now they feel like they are coming informed. Doesn't that make things a little harder for you?
See, whenever you are rolling out any activity for a child, or whenever you are planning something, that's why I said we plan, the planners are made much in advance. And the planner is not done in silos. I don't sit alone or do it, or the academic head doesn't sit in isolation and do it. It is done collaboratively, so that everybody can put their thoughts whether this activity is really meaningful. How is it going to help for the child? What is the outcome that we are looking for? What's the desired outcome? What's the purpose behind it? What's the objective? So we see it from all angles. That's why we do it in a collaborative manner. In fact, already our planner is in place for the next academic session. Though the academic session is starting only in June, we are
Right.
already working on it, and it's already, I can say, more or less done. So because the team is here now, before they go to vacation, they first, brainstorm and put out a draft of it. Once they come back, they again rework on it, revisit it, make the modifications. So these modifications are also done at regular intervals, because things are changing at an accelerated pace now, isn't it? So we need to keep revisiting. Once it's done, I don't park it aside and say we are frozen on this. So we keep revisiting. That is one side. When we do something collaboratively, all the pros and cons have already been thought about, so you are convinced about it. When you are convinced, it is very easy to convince somebody else. Make them see what is the angle, why are you rolling out this. It becomes very, very easy, because you are very clear about how it's going to benefit the child, or the long run, this is going to bring a real meaningful outcome in the child's life. It's going to be healthy. Then the parent is able to see your angle, because whatever questions the parent puts across, you are able to handle it because you have seen it from a 360 degree, isn't it?
Right.
So it becomes easy for you. So that is one thing that we do. We collaboratively do the planning of whatever we are rolling out for the students. Second thing is, we also keep seeing to it that we are constantly undergoing a lot of workshops. Either we are calling a resource person here, or we are seeing to it that we are sending the teachers there. We do a need analysis. It's all data driven here. So I try to find out what's there in the market, what is required for upgrading our staff knowledge, or our own in-house, every member's knowledge, because there are so many changes, so many new apps coming into the market, so many new what I can say, not only platforms, digital related equipments coming here. So we should make them feel comfortable to use this, isn't it? We have to keep evolving ourselves. We have to be progressive. So for that, if you are not giving the right exposure to your staff members or myself, I too undergo these workshops. I too keep enrolling. I keep the same, going through a lot of this, and I also conduct workshops. When I conduct, I start seeing what are the kind of questions that's coming from various other schools or other staff members from different regions, not just in Bangalore. I travel across and conduct. So when you travel, when you network, you are coming with a lot more experience and understanding of what's actually happening out there in the world. So when you are able to give this with examples to these parents, they really understand you. For this, you need to have patience. You need to see that you are not becoming defensive, but you are making them understand with proper reasons and examples.
So you were able to convince them, and they don't retaliate any. No, not even 1% retaliate.
See, there will be, it may, for some people, it may be just one meeting and they're convinced.
Right.
Some people will go back home, let me think on it and come back. So they may come back to you again. There are parents who come to me quite often, little things also they'll come, ma'am, you said like this, but why not like this? They
Yeah.
will again come back to you again and again. That's where I said you need to have patience. You need to understand. For them, their child is the world, isn't it?
Right.
But if you are convinced, as I said, and you are able to talk to them in that patience, you're able to give them that example. For that, you need to be a learner. I
Right.
need to see that I am also not stagnant. I am also seeing the parent perspective. Is there some sense in what the parent is saying? And I do my homework. I also do my research.
Right.
So then it works. When they know that you are talking, you're coming from a space of really having done your work, homework or groundwork, you are clear, you have that knowledge, they will respect you.
Understood. So, all right. This is actually a fair answer. Like, there's some people who would think about it and then retaliate a bit, but then eventually they give up and they're like, okay, we'll see how this goes and everything. Of course, I get that. But there's one more pressing problem that I see these days. Of course, it is with the working parents also, and the parents that are not working also, or even if a parent is not working, that they want their child to be so busy, like after school also they would ask teachers to take more classes, shape their entire mindset, or shape them more into their studies, not necessarily coaching, but then giving them extra hours to study. And of course they try to do a side deal. Have you caught anything like that around you, not say like one school or any other?
See, the school strength is 3,500 students. So that is almost 7,000 parents. So you will
Right.
have all kinds of parents. Some do not want you to give anything after school hours. They want their child to just come home and relax and just enjoy being at home. There are some parents who feel that you should give a lot of work, assignment. It's become so competitive now. So you have to bring them academically inclined. So you will come across all kinds. There's no denying about that. You have parents of this. So what we do is there are certain worksheets we upload in the app. So we have this platform, isn't it? So we put them up there, and those who want to give an additional worksheet at home, they want to engage their child, they can take these worksheets and give them to complete these worksheets. So we do that also, which is academically related. And now, when see, we are having this vacations coming up, so we have planned a beautiful holiday homework, holiday assignments, where the child is also given choice. They can do either this or this or this, but they have to do something in this, one of those. And that has little bit of academic, little bit something towards the society, little bit of something random act of kindness. So it is more not just where they feel that, oh, it's only academic and boring. It has to be designed in a manner age appropriate. What is their their thinking at that level? If it's for a primary level, you have to design the assignments in such a manner that they enjoy. They shouldn't feel this is an extended school hours. There should be learning. At the same time, it should be joyful. So it's child centric, something that the child is evolving, learning, and becoming more confident, and is able to apply in his or her life.
All right, got it. But what is your take on the side deals?
Sorry, come again.
What is your take on the side deals that the parent is trying to do with the teacher? I go teach them this, they'll come to your house or something like that. The other way.
See, there the policies matter. What is the school policy mentioning? So we have very clear, well-defined policy. So what is a teacher expected to do? How far the teacher can go? What else the teacher can do? So these policies are in place, whether for all the stakeholders. How much a parent can approach the teacher, or where they have to take the approvals of management or the principal. This kind is very well defined, very clearly defined. So once you have your policies and you are constantly talking to the parent, you are constantly talking to the teacher, you orient the parent also. What is ethical, what is the right way, how we can deal, why the parent is wanting such a thing. First is understand the parent. What is the parent looking for actually? And you tell them how you can help them out achieve that same outcome, but without going through anything that is deviating from the regular school policy. How we can still come to achieve this.
All right, but there when I specifically told you about working parents, they want actually half parenting from the teachers.
Yes.
They want their child to seek parenting from out only till 8 p.m., and then after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., when their office is over, they're ready to half parent the student, like their own child. So, what's
Yes,
your take on that?
as I said, we have a huge strength here. So many parents. There are parents, as you rightly mentioned, who they would prefer the school taking up everything, for their child. So that
Right.
is where we start making the parent understand that now if you lose on these opportunities where your child is growing and is looking for your love and affection, if this is missed out, we see now what are all the consequences that is happening. How later when you call the child, there are so many. I see, having an experience right from 2001 till date, I've seen all kinds of parents or situations where the child later see, there was a child, for example, let me give you an example to be more specific. The child was brought up by the grandparents. The parents were constantly moving out and going everywhere, so the child is now attached only to the grandmother, to be more specific, or the school teachers. The parent
Right.
is the child is not feeling comfortable at all with the parents because they were prioritizing their work. and they had left this child like this. And when there was something that was not going fine in the family, the child asked, I would like to go to school, I want to be with my class teacher, I want to be there. The child started asking for the teacher when there was not a comfortable situation at home. So then the parent started realizing that what they have done, when this foundation years, they have not given the time and quality time to the child, and that's where that bonding is not there. So when I'm addressing parents or during these meetings, you give these case studies to parents, they start understanding, because time really flies. You feel just the other day your child has come into the kindergarten, and in no time you will see the child is already flying. It's a 10th board exam, you're wondering what stream and things like this. So time actually flies, you don't realize. So wake up before it's too late, and give them that kind of build that rapport, build that, because later when you want them, when you're retired or when you have the time, they are already away from you, they're flown out of the nest. So
Right.
don't do such mistakes. So you need to give them a lot of case studies, and
So do
that's
you
where
have,
helps, with so many years of experience, having encountered so many, I keep traveling, as I mentioned. I am also an art of living teacher, so I keep taking courses, I interact a lot with various people. That's why I love interacting, going around, meeting people. I understand what's actually how situations are in different regions, different areas, different places. These challenges in the city are different, challenges in remote areas is different, rural setting it's different. So I start understanding what's happening at different parts of our country, and I'm able to really give them these examples.
no, I get it. Do you have another like a therapy SOP for let's say parents? Because half of the things that you're doing is therapy only. You're leading them in a way and trying to make them understand, trying to protect the child and the parents and their relationship. So do you feel like it's your responsibility to do that because you were made for academics and to make sure the academics and everything, the character development of the student goes well? But then if managing everything and giving them therapy all together, is that really fair for a school principal?
As I said, the way when we were studying or in school, the responsibility of a teacher was much lesser. It was only confined to their book, the syllabus, the curriculum. But it's no
Right.
longer like that. A teacher needs to be a counselor too. The teacher needs to, and for us, we are dealing with, as you rightly said, with the child, isn't it? Now, for the well being of a child, we have to see all those who are involved with the child's upbringing, isn't it? And parents
Right.
also play a equal role in that. So it becomes now a responsibility of a teacher also to see that constant orientation to the parents are also given. There is a lot of conversations that go between parents, because now there used to be a time when the, joint families were really a blessing, but now people have moved out of joint family, and it's all nuclear and both working, they don't have time for themselves. So the times are changing, as I mentioned rightly, isn't it? So we need to see that they the new because it's nuclear, and it's or single parent also. I come across now many of them, they are single parent, they do not know, they do over pampering at times, they do not know where to draw that line, when to be firm, when to give, they sometimes pamper and give everything, they want the child to have the best of everything which they didn't get during their growing up years. So then it's spoiling again the child. The child is taking things for granted, there's no gratitude at all. So this also is a concern for us nowadays, what we see. So we need to speak to parents, make you cannot have a same format or same approach to all parents. You need to see the background of the child, what is the parent, what are the parents doing, what is the child doing in his or her free time. So that is why in our school what we do is we have mentoring periods where the teacher, she every staff member is allocated around 7 to 8 students. So they have to they are having regular conversations, and they are not from their same class. They
Mm-hmm.
can be from any other section, any other class.
Right.
Randomly, 8 students are allocated to a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and they will have conversation throughout the year. You know,
Mm-hmm.
understanding the child, so the child also feels very comfortable, speaks to this teacher without any inhibitions, and you're able to then guide the parent accordingly. So it is now definitely, yes, we have moved to a place, time now where we need to see that it's not just the curriculum books, you do your academics and go out. If you are taken the responsibility for the child's
Mm-hmm.
well-being, it's not just academically. We want the child to really grow up in a holistic manner, isn't it? With that confidence, able to face the society, have that resilience. For that, need to understand the complete background of the child. And that's when, if you need to mentor a parent, you need to counsel a parent, we need to do that as well.
But do all the parents take it like playfully, or are they okay with it, or do some parents feel like, okay, that is too much information from you, we do not need that, or something, or maybe they don't say it at your face, but they feel that, and you realize that, okay, they are feeling that way, because the reactions can go either way, right?
Yes. That is where, the way you articulate, the way you speak, the way you build your rapport with the parents is very, very important. And that's where we keep telling the staff members, how you need to really talk to a parent, make them feel welcome to a school. Most of the schools, earlier I used to see whenever I visit, or as I said, I visit a lot of schools, I travel a lot. I see that when a parent walks in, they're first reeling out all the complaints against the child, or saying your child has not done the homework, your child is not regular, is not the hygiene part. So you should know how to first make the parent feel welcome, comfortable. They should look forward for what are the positive things the child has. Everybody has good number of positive traits. There are some areas of improvement, isn't it? Whether it is me, you, or anybody, we all have our own good side and areas of improvement, isn't it? So a
Right.
teacher should first know the child's, what are the assets that the child has, what are the interests that the child has, understand the child completely. So we see to it that these staff members have time with these students, whether it is during the lunch breaks or during their sports period. They are supposed to go there, monitor the child, watch the child, or have these uh, such candid conversations with the child, so they understand the space of the child. They understand, oh, the child is also interested in cricket, the child is interested in this gardening. They should know that, what else the child is interested. And when you tell this, the parent knows that you have done you are clear about the child. You know, you have understood the child, not just the surface level. You know the child in depth. And then you tell, everything is good. It should be like salt. It shouldn't be too much of areas of improvement. How much is palatable and it can add taste, only so much you can mention. You So for this meeting, you tell only this area which is a key concern for you, the child has to improve. For the next meeting, you can the second whatever is your, so you need to first say, these are the prime areas I want the child to improve on. This can wait a little. You do all this background, your study, and keep your things ready. Then you approach the parent like this, make the parent feel good about their child. For them, as I said, their child is the world, isn't it?
Right.
So make them happy and proud of their child.
Hmm.
They should feel, yes, I'm happy the way my child is, and if I contribute little here, the child will do much better. When the parent realizes that we are also there along, and a little support from the parent, we can really, really make a difference in his life or her life in their future, contributing to their future, the parent will willingly stretch their hand, isn't it? So that is where the way you articulate, the way you speak, communication is very, very important.
All right. So, if there was just one thing that you would want to tell to all the parents that they're associated out there, also in your school, also, that this one thing that you would want them to understand, which you've never said in your any in your any seminar or something, but you really have it in your heart, but you haven't just said it out loud. What would that be?
I want every parent to realize it's a blessing to have a child, you know. So be proud, be happy that you are gifted this wonderful gift from the divine, of having watch your child grow up. Don't be caught up in your own world. So see that you are watching your child grow up, be there for your child, have that patience, give that love and affection to your child, and be grateful every day for this gift in your life. Once they are grateful for having their child, they will know automatically, the mother in them, the father in them, or the parent in them will guide them. That inner compass will tell you what is good for the child, what needs to be done. It's like when a small child is small, the moment the child cries, the parent knows whether it's crying because it has dirtied itself, or because it's hungry. The cry, the child, a parent is able to tell, isn't it? I think the child is hungry, let me feed and come. Or I need to change, give me some time. The parent is able to sense. So don't lose that, inner guide, which is there in every parent. When does that become alert? It becomes alert when you are in alignment with your child, when you are, totally in sync and having that gratitude with your child. Your inner voice will tell you what needs to be done. So that time, listen to your inner voice and be there for your child. Don't overdo things extreme in the reason that, oh, others are doing, that's why I need to do, or I have the money, I can afford it. No, go with what your instincts are saying, the strong instinct. And that can happen only when you are centered, when you are balanced. And that's where I, again, as an art of living teacher, I say that, we need to see that we do a lot of self-care techniques. We give that me time, which we all for pressed for time or something, we are somewhere neglecting. So don't neglect that me time. Give first time for yourself. When you are strong within yourself, you are in alignment with what the world needs, and you will be able to give that to your child. So this is my message to all parents.
And if there was just one thing that you want the parents to start doing differently, what would that one thing be?
Wow, nice question. What would I want the parents to do differently?
Yes.
Oh, I need to really, take a deep breath.
Yeah, because that is about a candid conversation. You have to throw it out there. There must be people who would take it very positively. Like, okay, this was something that they never thought of. They should start implementing that. And since you've convinced so many parents, I'm sure you must have something in your gold mine.
Yeah, I see sometimes, these parents also, uh, they play a lot of roles in their life, isn't it? And now, as you mentioned, whether it is a male or a female, all are working parents nowadays, isn't it? So somewhere they forget what role they are in, switching the roles. They still carry they wear their office tag or whatever, with their designation there. When they
Yeah.
come back home, I want them to keep that aside and be their natural self at home. This is what I want them to. Feel that they are still carrying their those designations that they put on in their office or in their workplace or to the society.
Right.
Remove all that mask. Be your natural self at home. Enjoy that. Go give a hug to your child and be your natural self, playing whatever it requires. At times, scolding the child. So when you give that love, you have the right to scold also, isn't it? For the good of the child. But
Right.
without giving love, don't just keep scolding the child.
But what about the parents who have actually internalized their behavior, like how they're the same in the office also, they're the same with their wife also, they're the same with the child also. If they're agitated, then they're agitated throughout. If whatever, so they have incorporated that personality. Then what can they do about it?
See, actually, I remember one example that Gurudev had given. Now you want to uh, you iron your clothes, isn't it?
Right.
So don't you change the heat level when it comes to a silk fabric or when it is a cotton fabric? You see that accordingly you do. So if you are now dealing with the situation, you know how much of firmness you need to show, how much of anger you need to show. And if it is a silk fabric, then very minimal heat is enough. Just calling out their name. Are you doing the right thing? That's enough for them. They will come to their place. That time, don't overdo things. Don't this thing. So they need to understand this line of when to increase the heat, when to reduce the heat, or how to regulate their, as you said, the anger probably. When how to work it. For that again, I will say that one is the self-care techniques, as I said, little breathing techniques, and being composed at all situations, understanding the reality. I'm at home now. You need to realize that you are not in your workspace. You're dealing with a child who is so many years younger to you, isn't it? You can't use the same technique of talking to your colleague in office. So that they should really realize once they are internalize, you said. So that is, again, they need to reflect. Is my approach correct? Constant, I can say it as metacognition, being aware of their own thought process. Am I thinking in the right manner for this situation? Am I doing the right thing in this situation? They should be clear about it and then implement. For that, again, you need to see that you are really calm and composed. Only when you are centered, you can. So when you, there are so many techniques now in the market or in the society, how you can handle your own emotions. So first they should know, are they handling their emotions appropriately? If they are able to handle their emotions, whether they are sad, whether they are happy, if you are rejoicing, it doesn't mean that you overspend and overdo things, isn't it? Keep partying. No, because then soon it's going to come. There is an up and there is always a down, isn't it, in everybody's life? So they should
Right.
know when they're up, they celebrate. But how much? To what extent can I? So that is where they need to handle their emotions first appropriately. When you know how to handle yourself, you can handle anybody. Most of the time, what we do is we are trying to handle others' emotions, forgetting, neglecting our own cycle of mood swings.
I told you this was one going somewhere. And I want to say, if a parent is listening to this and something landed a little heavily, please go and reflect on it a bit. The school is trying their level best and they want you to reflect on certain things. It is not a competition. That relationship between home and school, it is for the child. I think we both agree on one thing, the school and the parents, that they are really worried about the well being of their child. And that is the whole point. A huge thank you to Dr. Reshma Gandhi for saying the things that needed to be said with honesty and without malice. It takes more courage than it looks.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure being here on this platform, and the way the questions that you put across, it made me also revisit on my approaches, and it made me reflect. So a huge thanks to you too for this.
Thank you so much.